Aditya on route 1, bib number 73, and Visha, bib 40 on route
Hello,
2.
welcome to the South Zone Sport Climbing Competition 2023. I'm your host Lani, and I'm joined here by Nikhil Fernandez, who is also a
Hi,
very good climber himself.
hi everyone. Good afternoon.
We've just finished the trial runs for speed, and the athletes are all warmed up now. We have Vishak on route 1.
Yeah,
Climbers take
yeah. So
position.
now we have Vishak on route 2 and
On your mark,
I think Aditya on
ready,
route 1.
And they're off.
So this is the qualifications round. So that means climbers have 2 attempts to climb till the top. So they'll climb once on route 1, once on route 2. As you can see, Vishak just got his time of 9.38. So the goal right now is climbers want to get their fastest possible time. So to qualify for the knockouts, you have to be in the top 8.
Yes, so it doesn't matter right now if you beat the other person
No,
on the
no,
other side of the
no.
wall.
Right now it doesn't matter. Right now they're just looking at their time. They're looking to not slip or have a false start. False start actually in speed climbing. That's as you can see, there's a little plate on the bottom, and climbers have to start with their foot on that plate.
It's a little landmine. It's
Yeah.
very sensitive to touch, and once you step on it, you can't even shift your weight
Yeah.
around.
So if you step off it before the timer beeps, it'll be a false start. And
and
actually,
you
a
only have
climber
one
is
attempt.
climber is
so
completely disqualified from the competition if they have a false start. So
it's a brutal and unforgiving sport, I think.
yeah, yeah. So now the next two are going in for their first run.
The weather is also pretty unforgiving today. It's been drizzling on and off all day. Events have been getting delayed,
Yeah,
but we're here now.
yeah. Lucky for us, the speed wall isn't getting touched by the rain.
Mhm. It's weird kind of rain as well. It's like slanting. It's
Yeah.
not straight.
So for those of you who don't know about speed climbing, the walls and the hole that you're seeing is universal. So the angle of the wall and the holes that you're seeing
ready,
are absolutely same everywhere in the world. So climbers have this wall all over the world, and they have to try and train and get the fastest possible timing.
Mhm. So it's something that you can consciously train for
Yeah,
year
so
round because
it's
nothing
a
ever
lot
changes.
it's a lot different than sport climbing. Sorry, in lead or boulder.
Mhm.
So climbers who train for speed are usually like exclusively speed climbers. They want a
Absolutely.
lot of power in their legs and
And
in their
precision.
arms and precision, of course. And then there's the aspect of the mental game when it comes to something like speed, because you have one shot basically, and you're training
Absolutely.
for months and months,
And
and
anything could go wrong, honestly.
anything can go wrong. If your foot slips, if you miss the hold, if you have a false start,
Mhm.
so all of these things are going to definitely play with the climber's head.
Absolutely. And I think weather conditions where you are climbing in the world also matters.
Of course,
I
yeah.
was talking to some of the contestants, and they were saying this wall is a little bit slippery today.
It's a little bit slippery, yeah. And the weather conditions are a little humid because
Mhm.
of the rain. So right now we have Loki and Madan, who are going to give their first run. Let's see how they do. So most of these climbers are actually not you would consider speed climbers. So they don't really
Yes.
train speed. So Loki was telling us that he hasn't actually climbed speed since last
Since
year's
the
nationals.
last year's zonals, I think. I
Since
don't think
last year's
that
zonals,
he made
yeah,
it to the
yeah.
nationals. But here they are, and they're still so strong
Yeah,
for not
yeah.
having trained at
It-
all
it-
during the year.
It's it's pretty fast, and
Mhm.
when you try it yourself, you might get an idea of how far apart the holes actually are.
Absolutely.
And
It's
these
just
guys are making
dyno
huge
after
moves.
dyno.
So a slip there by Loki.
This is so stressful to watch.
Yeah.
I feel like as we go through the rounds, I'm gonna start hyperventilating.
Yeah, so you could see Loki just got 12 seconds, Madan got 11 seconds.
Mhm.
The current world record, it stands at around 4.9 seconds.
Mhm.
So the margins of speed climbing are 4.94. I've just been corrected. Is the world record. So the margins for speed climbing are incredibly small. So we do actually have one climber who is exclusively a speed climber.
Mhm.
He hasn't come up yet, but we'll talk more about that when he does show up.
He should be up next.
So after the qualifications, the top 8 climbers will be selected, and then there will be a knockouts. Basically, after that, it's knockouts. So
Yes, which will be very exciting to watch.
so it starts out with
And there's no margin for error
Yeah,
at all.
yeah, of
If
course,
you mess
yeah.
up, you are out.
yeah.
You don't get a second chance.
And like you said, in the right now it doesn't matter who they're competing against, but in the
Mhm.
knockouts it comes down to who climbs it faster
Mhm.
amongst the 2 people. So it goes from 8 people to 4 people, and then from 4 people the top 2 compete for first and second,
Mhm.
and the third and fourth compete for the third place.
Yes. As I said, like it's such a brutal sport. If
Yeah,
you're knocked
yeah.
out, you're knocked out.
Yeah, it is not an easy sport to train for, because like you said, you get maybe like 2 or 3 opportunities,
Mhm.
and those opportunities last a total of less than 30 seconds. So
Absolutely.
you are training for months and months for this like this short burst where you're hoping that everything comes together for the
Absolutely.
competition.
And when you break it down, these moves are very hard. These holds are very far apart.
Yeah.
So much strength required.
So over the years, there have actually been like multiple changes in how people climb the route.
Mhm.
So it's become world over. It was groundbreaking when somebody decided to skip one of the holes. So
Yes.
now the pattern in which climbers climb it, and you'll see this especially when you see Deepu climb, who
Mhm.
still has to come up, which holes he decides to skip.
There he is.
Yeah, so Deepu is just coming up now, so you really want to watch out for Deepu. He is currently the fastest Indian. He holds the record, the current record, which is, I think, it's at 5.887 is his current personal best.
Which is insane.
That's really fast.
And it might not sound like much compared to the world record, but like these, it's like a second difference. And it's
Yeah.
hard to like move on from that as well.
Yeah. So Deepu is definitely the one to watch. So Deepu actually is the only climber amongst the men who is only climbing in speed. The others are mostly boulderers or lead climbers, but Deepu is exclusively a speed
Mhm. So
climber.
he doesn't train for any other.
So Deepu
sport
made this
discipline?
decision a few years back. He used to climb boulder and lead as well, and he's actually an incredibly strong boulderer as well. Like if you've seen him bouldering,
Mhm.
I mean, you definitely would not call him a weak boulderer, but he's decided to focus, and you can hear
And
the
look at
crowd
him in
reaction.
action.
Yeah,
A little bit of a slip there. As we said, it's pretty humid.
yeah. So I think that would be a slow run for Deepu,
Mhm.
7.97. But yeah,
And we were speaking to some friends of ours here, and they were saying that Deepu's record even was like not his best run. It was
Yeah.
just like him going at his own pace.
yeah. So in practice, Deepu has actually touched 5.7 as a timing, but of course replicating that. So something that I found out here, one of my friends told me, is that even if Deepu does break the speed record here today, it won't count because it only counts when they have a system in place called auto belay.
Okay.
So if
So
you can
this
see
wouldn't
here,
count
we have
towards
a belayer at the bottom,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah. So I think it has something to do with that there's a margin for some of the climbers' weight actually falling on the rope when it's a
Okay.
belayer. So one interesting thing that I've heard about Deepu's training is that he actually climbs up the speed wall so fast, and if you're a speed climber, you climb up so fast that you need 3 people to belay you.
Mm-hmm.
So what this means is there's one person belaying you, and there are 2 people standing behind the belayer pulling
Okay.
the rope as fast as they can.
So every time he trains, he has to have 3 people with him at all times.
That's partially because we just don't have the facility of an auto belay
Mhm.
yet here in Bangalore. So it has definitely been a struggle for him training and figuring this out. But Deepu is 100% committed.
Absolutely.
So for
and
those
you
of
can
you-
see it in his
yeah.
performance as well.
Yeah, and if you don't know this, he's actually has a goal of qualifying for the Olympics.
Mm-hmm.
And he has been working very hard towards that goal.
I'm sure he'll make it in no time.
Yeah, so now we have Bharat Pereira and Vishak up next. You'll see these guys later on in the men's boulder finals as well.
Yes. Very strong boulders. As we said before,
Take position.
they have not really specifically trained for speed.
Yeah, yeah.
They're primarily lead and boulder climbers.
On
So-
your mark. Ready.
So you can see the difference in their start positions
Mhm.
over here and how they're choosing to go up.
As you can see, even though
Seeming
they're not
pretty
trained
close
for
here.
it,
Yeah.
they are flying up the wall. Would you say that training in other disciplines, even though you're not primarily speed climber, it does help a lot, doesn't it?
For speed climbing,
Mm-hmm.
I would say up to a certain extent, but speed climbing is so much about dialing in these exact and very specific
Absolutely.
movements.
It's almost like a recipe.
Yeah, and your fingers don't have to be as strong as they might have to be if you're a
Mhm.
because you don't really need endurance. You're climbing for just ideally less than 10 seconds.
Yes.
So you don't really need endurance. So the type of training I would say is actually quite different. If you're a boulder or elite climber, you're training your fingers a lot and you're training a lot of variety of movements a lot. For speed climbing, it's a lot of power that you're
Mhm.
training, and explosive power is what you really want if you're a speed climber. So you'll usually see body types of speed climbers are quite different as well.
Climbers take position.
Yeah, so this is Nikhil and Sudarshan, I believe, taking up their starting positions.
Ready?
Samir, sorry.
Flying up the wall. Little
A
slip there.
yeah, but looks like he's still.
And this wall looks straight, but has like a slight incline, doesn't it?
I believe so.
Next we have Madan on route 2, bib 114, and Loki bib 39 on route 1. Take position.
Up next we have
Loki and Madan, yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
again primarily boulders and lead climbers.
So something interesting about Loki, he's actually the elected athlete representative, and he was elected
What
in
a
last year's
run.
nationals.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And Loki has actually put in a lot of work this year. Actually, the both of us are sitting here thanks to Loki because
Yes,
he actually worked on the organization of a live stream and a commentary,
absolutely.
which I think,
Thank you
as
very
far
much,
as I know,
Loki.
this is the first time this has happened in
Mhm.
zonals. So
Next we have
it's a big step.
He's really moving. He's really working for the community to
Yeah.
move
Yeah.
forward.
Working on
It's really, really good to see.
Yeah. Working a lot on helping climbing grow, helping
Mhm.
more people, understand and learn about climbing. And I think this is a really big step. So people can
Absolutely.
actually watch and support our athletes.
The nationals are also happening later on this month in Bangalore from the 21st to 24th of December.
Yeah, yeah.
And we will be live streaming that as well. So I'm very excited about that.
Yeah, the competition only gets better. You've seen
Mhm.
how many strong climbers we have just from the South Zone. So nationals climbers are going to be coming from all over India.
Absolutely.
So
Energy's going to be different.
it's going to be a hell of a competition for sure.
Okay. Take position. On your mark. Ready? Women get ready.
And that's our first fall. So all of these climbers have like their own strategies to get up the wall, is it?
Yeah, yeah.
They just practice it over and over and over again.
Yeah, I mean, so since it's like, it's so standardized, there are like maybe a few different strategies for
Mhm.
those who are really performing at the top level. There are few betas which a climber can choose to use.
Okay.
And I think definitely your height plays into
Yes.
account, and just what you feel comfortable with. But at this point, yeah, I think there are maybe 2 or 3 betas which are being used by the top speed climbers in the world.
Mhm. If you can't tell, I am not very well versed in the world of climbing. I only started my climbing journey about like 5 months ago.
And that for me is the beauty of climbing, you know, that you
Yes.
can interact with people at different levels so easily.
Absolutely.
And it's not a big deal, you know.
It's such a nice community, and I think that's part of the reason that like people who start climbing do stick with climbing.
Yeah.
It's such a communal sport.
It's a safe space, you know, you can
Mhm.
really say that. Like,
Absolutely.
because I think there is a lot of social anxiety involved with starting anything new, because
Mhm.
you're not going to feel great at
Yes.
first, but the kind of support you get from the climbing community can be really helpful with
Yeah.
that.
So I train. Train is a big word. I just climb for fun. I climb at this the same place that Bharat Pereira trains in,
Yeah,
and he's like the national climbing champion.
yeah, and
And
you were
he-
telling me something the other day. Why don't you
Yes.
share that?
Like whenever I climb at the gym, he will give me like little micro betas to like help me improve
Yeah,
a route that I'm working on, which is just it just humbles me.
yeah,
He's so humble. Like everybody's at the same level, kind of. It feels like that.
yeah.
And even on Instagram, he'd send me like reels of like techniques to like make your climbing better.
yeah, yeah,
How great is that?
yeah. The national champion, like, you know, just willing to help out
Mm-hmm.
anybody.
Yes.
It's a wonderful thing, and I think it's quite exclusive to maybe climbing and some other sports.
Yeah, I don't think any other sport is as
Yeah,
communal as this.
yeah, definitely.
And I think that you, even as a professional climber, you only get better, really, when you climb with other
Of
people.
course, yeah, yeah,
Like observation periods, they all happen together.
yeah,
You observe beta together, you figure them out together.
yeah. Here's
Which is so
Deepu on his
beautiful.
second run. Sorry,
Tearing up the wall, 6.27
6.27.
seconds.
So Deepu has, I think we can say pretty confidently that he has the fastest timing so far. So how this actually works is, after this qualification round, the person who came first will be competing with the person who came last.
Yes.
And it goes then second and second last, and so on and so forth.
And those are called the knockouts.
Those are the knockouts.
Brutal round. If you lose, you are out of
Yeah.
the running.
So we haven't seen a false start yet, but a false start in speed climbing is a complete disqualification.
Mm-hmm.
So false start happens usually with the sensor that you see on the ground. If you lift your leg up before the timer goes off, it's considered a false start.
And they only get one false start. It is all you need
Yeah.
to be disqualified.
Yeah. So it's high stakes for sure.
Very high stakes. Especially for people who train exclusively in speed.
Yeah. So we have, seems to be some problem.
Take position.
Send it to him.
On your mark. Ready.
This page, go to the bio. Bharat Pereira, again, running up the wall. Tearing up the wall. 7.07 seconds. Looking pretty pleased with himself as he makes his descent.
Now we have women category. Sonali Pereira on route 1 and Purvi on route 2. Sonali bib 85. Purvi bib 68 on route 2.
Yeah, so the women's are just starting their qualification rounds right now. The men's have just finished theirs.
Mhm.
So we will get the results of that qualification round shortly.
So how much time do they have before they have to get on the mat?
So there is there's a timer that goes off. So they have to be in the start
Okay.
position and
But
then the
they're-
timer
so
goes off.
I see them grabbing the start position briefly once,
Yeah.
turning back around, chalking up.
Yeah, so I think that's just more of them checking, seeing if everything is okay, adjusting the pad according to where they want their leg to be.
Okay.
So each and every climber probably starts with their leg a little bit different, so they want
Yes.
they want to set that up before they start.
I was speaking to Sonali earlier, and she was telling me that she has worked on a couple of different betas for her speed climbing training
Yeah,
recently. And you can see it. Her progress, 18.18 seconds.
Nice, that sounds so good for you. You guys are talking so well.
So first round over for Sonali and Purvi.
Again, this is just the qualifications, so it doesn't matter if you don't do or don't beat the person to their left or right.
Yeah,
It's just you have to have the highest time possible
yeah.
or shortest time possible.
Yeah. Here is Lakshmi and Kavya.
Climbers take position.
So as the speed is going on right now, the speed qualifications and the finals will happen immediately after. Unlike our other events, which the boulder qualifications actually happened this morning.
Yes, they did.
So the finals will be happening, should start sometime after 3. We'll keep you guys updated about that. But the route setters are currently setting up the wall for the finals.
Yes, that's going to be one watch you will not want to miss.
Yeah. So the men's is actually quite exciting. There was a tough competition to get into the qualification
Yes.
rounds. And again, since we have a fewer number of women, the women will be going directly to finals today. So the boulder finals, women's will happen after the men's.
It is very, very rainy here in Bangalore. And I feel
Gloomy
like
weather, yeah.
gloomy weather. And also where the boulder wall is right now, the rain can get into it and soak into the mat. So I'm a little bit worried,
So
but
hopefully
hopefully it dries up.
Hopefully the worst is behind us.
Events have been delayed quite a bit today because of the rains,
Yeah.
but we are on our way now. So hopefully no other delays will happen.
Next we have Jayati, bib number 100 on route 1, and Dhanalakshmi bib 78 on route 2.
We have Jayati and Dhanalakshmi on route 1 and route 2 respectively.
Take position. On your mark, ready.
That's a voice or a speaker?
ಹೋಗೋಣ 5 ನಿಮಿಷ ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಹಾಂ ಆಟಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರಲಿ.
You are.
Yeah. So I've just got some extra information. I have a young climber here. His name is
Very,
Krishna,
very young, very impressive, strong
Krishna
climber.
Gaurav. Yeah, and he's actually has something to tell us about the angle of the wall and why it is exactly the way it is. Krishna, would you like to share that with us?
I feel like he knows more than both of us combined.
Yeah, the speed wall is angled because if it was straight, they would scrape their knees and it would be harder to make dinos, and it's slightly angled. It's not completely a slab, and they would have to put more pressure on their toes, and it would be a little more dangerous because they could hit their back and swing and all of that.
Thank you. Thanks for that, Krishna.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, so it's slightly angled then is... So, yeah, so even that
Krish is
slight
just telling
angle...
us this is a hard job. Oh, we know. No, it's all fun.
Yeah, thank you for that, Krishna.
And Lakshmi on Lakshmi.
But like Krish said, it's not really straight up, this wall. There's a slight angle to it,
Yeah,
which makes it easier but also makes it harder.
yeah. So it is thought out, and speed has been like this for quite a long time. And there was a time, when we believed it was humanly impossible for anybody to climb below 5 seconds. And I think last year was the year where a climber called Leonardo Vedrik, Indonesian climber, he broke the record of going sub 5 basically. And now the whole standard for what is fast has just gotten faster. So it's speed climbing is really about pushing what is humanly possible, and we're all
Ever
interested to
evolving
see,
sport.
because there has to be some limit, right? Like ideally you would think that there should be some limit, but so far climbers have felt like they can push it faster and faster. And so Krishna has just told me that the unofficial world record is 4.84, the fastest for anybody to climb the wall, but that's not happened in a competition.
It's not. So when did that happen?
I think during a training
Okay.
practice, yeah.
Still very commendable.
Yeah.
I have not tried a speed wall yet.
Yeah,
But I feel like I would just climb it like a normal wall.
yeah, it's
Heel hooks.
it is a very specific and unique
Uh-huh.
type of sport climbing, you would say.
Have you tried a speed wall before?
Actually, one of the first times I climbed, I didn't know it was a speed wall also, but this was I did this thing called a basic mountaineering course,
Okay.
and rock climbing is one of the aspects of mountaineering. And these instructors sent us on this speed wall, and they had these army guys who train as speed climbers. They had a show us them climbing the speed wall once, and then they put us all on it. And I was like, I definitely did not reach the top. It was my first time climbing, and I had no idea what was going on. All of the holes felt so far apart, and I had no idea where to put my feet or my hands.
I feel that would happen. So you
I
didn't
think
make it. How far up the wall did you make it?
Maybe 3 or 4 holes. Yeah, it was not easy for sure.
So you know exactly how hard
Yeah,
it is.
it is
what
hard.
these athletes are doing in front of us right now.
Yeah, even for somebody who climbs regularly, I don't think it would be easy to get on a speed wall and
The MC has just announced that one climbing shoe has been found somewhere in the stadium.
hopefully they find the other one too.
Yeah, and the person that it belongs to.
So Kavya and Ganga getting ready for the second round.
Kavya, bib number 44.
Again, for qualification round, you are just competing with yourself, honestly.
Yeah, for your fastest
For your
time.
fastest time, not with the person who is climbing next to you. That's going to happen shortly in the knockout round, which I'm so excited for.
Yeah, and that'll happen immediately after this. There are no breaks in speed climbing. And unlike the boulder and lead, where athletes have to go into isolation, the climbers are right here and they can watch each other.
Yes.
They can watch each other compete.
On your mark. Ready.
And they're off. When you break it down, you can see just how hard those moves are.
How far apart they are. And it's committing, you are making big moves, and sometimes you are taking both your hands to new holes. So you either hit it or you don't. So there is always a possibility, even for the best speed climbers to slip, to
Mhm.
miss the hole. So
I was watching some very intense IFSC competitions this
Yeah.
morning, and there were like people who are the favorites to win the round,
Yeah.
and sometimes they just make one error and that's it.
yeah, there
They're
are
out.
actually a couple of climbers who, you know, they're the fastest out there, but they're also known for making a lot of mistakes.
Uh-huh.
So, you know, one competition you could do really well, another you could slip up and your chance is gone. Yeah.
Brutal.
Yeah, and a lot of us have been, you know, tracking Deepu and his progress as a speed climber. And in the last competition was actually
Dhanalakshmi on route 1 from women category bib 78.
sorry, we're just having a technical difficulty here.
Mishka on route 2.
I think Loki qualified.
Yeah.
Dhanalakshmi bib 78 on route 1. Mishka from junior girls bib 67 on route
Oh, so looks like we have the junior girls coming up. So I think the results for the results of the qualification of men's are just out. So we will get that to you shortly. So we'll come back to you as soon as the knockout round starts for men and women.
Yes.
Ready?
We'll be back shortly for the knockout rounds for both men and women's speed finals. See you in a bit.
What is the YouTube channel? Elite.
Now we have Ganga on Ganga on route 1 and Rakshita on route 2. Ganga bib 45, Rakshita bib 23 from the junior category. on route 1 and Vishak on route 2.
So the knockout rounds are just starting now. We have we have Deepu on lane 1 and Vishak on lane 2. So we might have mentioned before
These
that-
rounds are high stakes.
yeah.
Whoever wins this will progress on to the next round. Unfortunately, the other will be eliminated.
On your mark, ready,
So Deepu on his and that is a 6.69 for
6.69
Deepu.
seconds.
So that's Deepu and Vishak is knocked out.
Deepu, you were saying, holds the current national record for speed climbing in
So
India.
yeah, something really interesting. Deepu holds the national record of 5.887 and in the past year he has broken the national record a total of 4 times. So
He's
earlier
beaten
this year
his own record multiple times.
Yeah, so earlier this year he broke the national record to 6.59. From 6.59 he went to 5.98. From 5.98 to 5.94, and most recently, a few weeks back, at the Asian qualifiers, he got a 5.887.
That's insane. We actually saw him do a sub 5, sub 5,
A
sub
sub
6.
yeah, a
Sub
sub 6 round. This he had a run of around 5.9 today.
Just casually.
Yeah. So Deepu,
and Loki on
for lack of better words, has no competition in the South
Oh,
Zoners.
really?
None of these boys really consider themselves speed climbers.
Yes, as we mentioned before, they primarily train for lead and bouldering. They have admitted to us themselves.
yeah. And Deepu's story is one of true inspiration. And
Absolutely.
today I met Aditya Pandey. He is actually a climber and he is based out of Manali. And he's actually come down to the south. He's come down to Bangalore to shoot a documentary about Deepu
Yes.
and his journey to attempting to reach the Olympics.
Absolutely.
So here's Bharat Pereira and Loki on their knockout round. Seems close,
Very close.
but Baba
Loki has
inching
had a little
ahead,
slip.
and that's
Bharat at 7.90
7.9
seconds.
for Bharat.
We here in Bangalore have to call him Baba, which I almost just called him right just now.
Yeah. So Bharat and Lokesh are both affectionately referred to as Bharat and Loki. So
Baba and Loki.
Baba and Loki, my bad.
I thought when I first started climbing, I thought Baba and Bharat were two very different people.
Yeah.
Because I'd be talking in a group when Bharat was in the group, and then someone would be like, "Yeah, Baba did that," and I was like, "Oh, I wonder who Baba is."
Yeah. There are a lot of Bharats in climbing, you know.
There are.
Yeah.
I was just in isolation recently today,
Yeah.
and they,
is Bharat.
as you can see, Bharat has won this round. Unfortunately, Lokesh has been eliminated.
Yeah. So what's going to happen now is Bharat and Deepu will be competing for the first place, and Loki and Vishak will be competing for the third place.
I can't wait. As I was saying, I was in isolation before,
Yeah.
and the lady who was calling out people to come out to climb, she was like mentioning names so that people could line
Yeah.
up, and they were like, "Rahul," and people came up. And then she was like, "Bharat," and about 50 heads turned.
Yeah.
So there's so many Bharats
A
in
lot of
climbing.
Bharats in climbing, yeah. And now the women will have their first knockout round. So we are at Yavnika right now, which is a facility in Bangalore. It has mostly climbers come here to practice lead climbing,
Yes.
and there is a bouldering wall as well. And speaking of great facilities,
On route 1,
our sponsor Boulderbox is a wonderful facility which is
It really
located
is.
in Delhi.
So Bharat and Vishak have exclusively trained there
Yeah,
for a
yeah.
bit this year in preparation for the nationals,
Yeah.
and they have the best things to say about it. Honestly, they told me a lot about like the climbing facilities, which I'm very excited about.
Yeah.
But honestly, they have a library and a cafe, and I just want to go there and chill. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And a lot of climbers in Bangalore make their yearly pilgrimage to a climbing area in the north called Setan,
Mm-hmm.
and it is ritual for people to stop over at Delhi
It
and
is.
visit Boulderbox. Climbers, it's a thing. People going to Boulderbox on their way to Setan.
They do have like some of the country's best climbers who work there and
Yeah.
routes set for
Yeah.
them. So like whether you're a beginner climber or like an experienced pro just looking for more challenges, Boulderbox is a great place to go.
Yeah, it's awesome to have great route setters.
Mm-hmm.
It makes the biggest of differences.
Yes. The women's knockout rounds have just started.
So
Sonali on the
and
right.
Purvi.
Pairing
Sonali
it up.
seems to be just ahead.
And
And
Sonali has
yeah.
it at 17.51
A
seconds.
time of 17.51.
She looks so
and-
happy.
Oh, and so as you can see, Purvi missed hitting the pad. So it is a sensor. So
Mhm.
if you don't hit it hard enough, if you don't get your hand on it,
Yes.
your time doesn't count.
Which is so unfortunate.
Yeah.
Especially when the stakes are high and it's like close to less than 10 seconds.
Yeah.
Imagine if your hand does not touch the buzzer.
It's unfortunate for sure. The next two women will be coming in after this. Looks like Jayati and Lakshmi.
The winner of this round is Sonali Parela.
Sonali has this
Good
round.
job,
She'll
Sonali.
be progressing on to the next round.
The next round, we have Jayati on route 1, bib 100, and Lakshmi on route 2, bib 96.
We have Jayati on route 1 and Lakshmi on route 2. Knockout rounds, women's speed.
Climbers take position.
Yeah, so just before the start, the climbers move their footpad to the preferred positioning.
Ready?
So Lakshmi choosing to start with one of her hands on the second hold. Jayati starting with both hands on the first.
It really varies from climber to climber, doesn't it?
Yeah. Jayati looking good on the speed wall.
She's really going for it. 14.95 seconds from Jayati.
That
She'll
looks
be
like our
progressing on to the
fastest
next
time
round.
from the women so far today. So the men will now have to prepare themselves for their final run. This run will be deciding the
Who moves on to the nationals?
winners. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Jayati.
Yeah, so somebody just told us the women's record for the fastest climb up the speed wall is 6.25 seconds. And it's by Alexandra Miroslav. She's from Poland. And this was earlier this year in April.
As you can see, the boys are psyching themselves up to compete in the last two
Yeah,
rounds
so-
of the speed finals competition.
Yeah, so this is the decider, of our first, second,
Mhm.
and third.
We have the junior girls run for the first position. Mishka on route 1 and Ganga on route 2.
Yeah, so before the men's, we have the junior girls, and they're going straight to the run for the first position. So we have Nishka and Ganga competing for first place.
We've been told that the foothold on the bottom, the pad, is a
Yeah.
little bit uneven on route number 2.
Yeah.
So there's been a lot of false starts that we've seen in this competition,
Take position.
and
Yeah,
that's why.
yeah.
Not so far this round.
Yeah, not so far.
On your mark. Ready.
And they're off.
So Nishka easing ahead, bar any mistakes or slip-ups.
Really going for it.
Yeah, these are the junior girls competing for first place. Yeah, you can see, and there's
Ooh,
a slip
big
from
slip.
Nishka.
She's made it. And she missed the buzzer.
Yeah.
I've not seen that happen before.
Yeah, so
That was so sad.
that was a intense run, huh?
So close.
Yeah.
And we were talking about it before. What if an athlete misses the buzzer?
Yeah, so
Now
you
we
have
know.
it right there. And I'm sure that even otherwise, since she did have a slip, the judges might have reconsidered even if she had hit it.
Mhm.
He came running. Oh, now like loudly. Go for it.
Is Ganga
So,
There we have it.
second to Mishka
so we have our junior girls results.
in the junior girls category. Congratulations.
So next up, the men will be competing for the third place position.
For the third position now,
It is between Vishak and Lokesh.
and Vishak.
This is going to be fun to watch.
It
you know.
will. I think it's going to be close.
Loki on
Unless one of them
route
slips up.
Vishak on route 2.
My heart is beating so fast.
Yeah.
Climbers take position.
Smiles from both the boys before their final speed run of the day.
Uh-huh.
Ready.
They're off to a strong
It's looking
start.
like an even match so far,
Ooh,
and Vishak
has
slips.
slipped up. Okay, 7.83 seconds.
Yeah, so that's
Looks pretty
Loki in
happy
our
with that.
third place position.
Loki looking very proud of himself, as he should be.
A good run from Loki.
This is the most stressed I've been while watching any form of climbing.
Yeah. It's
I've never seen like a live speed competition happen before.
you know, a solid 5 seconds,
Yep.
5 to 10 seconds where your heart is in your mouth.
Just adrenaline, and then we have like 10 seconds to recover.
For third place.
There you go, Loki,
A master stroke by
who
Loki.
is now third
First position in men's
ranking,
category
and he's made it through the
between
nationals.
Deepu and Bharat. Deepu on route 1.
Deepu on route 1 and Bharat Pereira on route 2. Deepu is the guy who holds the current national record for speed climbing.
Yeah.
But anything can happen, as we've just seen.
Yeah, so all eyes on Deepu right now, you know, as the
Position.
speed climber who everybody has been watching the
Mhm.
past year. And of course, Bharat Pereira, the natural talent.
They're about to take off.
Both of them
Very
are just
close.
flying up.
Deepu
Oh.
with 6.25 seconds. Bharat has now ranked second, and both athletes will be progressing on to the nationals.
Yeah.
That's
So
happening
Deepu
later on
moving
this
on
month.
first place, and
That was thrilling.
that was fast. Yeah.
I think it was Deepu's competition to lose, and he's just proved to himself and to everybody
Yeah.
that he's been working hard. We can all see it.
He's here to win.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
The winner of this round and first position to Deepu.
Deepu doing his little victory lap.
Place to Bharat.
Everyone's such a good sport in climbing. It makes me happy.
Yeah.
Now we have the run for the third position in the women category.
It is now time for the women's finals rounds.
Between
So
Purvi
third place first we
and
have
Lakshmi.
Purvi and Lakshmi.
Purvi on route 2, Lakshmi on route 1.
I don't think I've still calmed down from that last run.
Yeah. I mean,
It's hard to calm down from that.
those guys were fast.
Uh-huh. As you said, they're making a documentary about Deepu.
Yeah. Crowd
Um,
favorite, I've heard.
yes.
It's called. And that
Oh, it's
he
called crowd
definitely
favorite.
is,
I was
yeah.
going to say he is a crowd favorite, yes.
Climbers
But it's about his journey to compete in the Olympics.
Yeah. It's definitely not been easy,
Mhm.
Climbing is still a young sport in India.
on
Yes.
your mark,
It is hard for athletes to get the funding that they need.
And facilities.
Yeah.
But against all odds, he's doing it.
And Purvi and Lakshmi. Lakshmi looks like she's just ahead, and Purvi
Big
has slipped.
slip from Purvi.
So
Lakshmi
Lakshmi
carrying on
has her
strong.
third place bar any slips now. Lakshmi cautiously making her way up.
26.89 seconds.
And there we have our third place.
Up next, we have the fight for first place between Sonali and Jayati. We saw them tearing it up in the Leeds finals yesterday.
Yeah,
Which was a
fantastic
thrill
to
to
watch.
watch.
Yeah. And we will see these women again in the Boulder finals
Mhm.
later today.
winner of this round and the third place goes to Lakshmi.
Lakshmi in third place, looking a little confused. But she has made it to the nationals.
Yeah.
Now this is the run for the first position between Sonali and Jayati. Sonali on route 1.
They are definitely crowd favorites. Sonali on route 1, Jayati on route 2. This is the run for
It's going to be a close
first
one.
place.
Jayati on route 2. Climbers take position.
They're now taking their positions, and my heart is in my throat.
On your mark. Ready?
And they're off.
Looking close so far.
Very close.
Yeah.
Little slip from both of them. Big dyno from Jayati.
has just inched ahead. And Jayati with
14.60 seconds, Jayati, followed closely by Sonali, who is now in second place, Jayati in first place. Both will be moving on to the nationals.
Yeah, and I guess with that we have our speed results for men and women.
Yes. For men, we have first place Deepu, second place Baba, who is all we know him as Baba, you know him as Bharat Pereira, and
The
third place we
winner
have
of
Lokesh
this
Rajan.
round is Jayati.
And for women, we have first place Jayati, second place Sonali, third place